say this money. Oh, the people that are on food stamps, like I spent some food stamps from that I had before, but I'm not on the food stamp program. So that's a good. And I got a letter of them asking me to spend the food stamps. They asked me to spend the food stamps after I was already off of. The state of Wisconsin sent me a letter asking me, and I was in jail too. Wow. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be great? Oh, I'm on this shit because you got people doing all this work, enslaving them on your programs. They going to jail for stuff they shouldn't be doing, and most of the time it's people that are on public aid, poor poverty. Maybe they could spend some food stamps in jail. You use medical, you use their medical cards, forward health. Why they can't use food stamps? I'm just saying. Anyway, yeah, they send me a letter. Asking me usually, I'm not using them food stamps, but I have to do some stuff, and I'm doing something. Anyway, so I'm just looking at my phone, and it said it was like a list of food pantries. Okay, so all these people scurrying, all these people are going all over the place, worried about if they're going to get food. That's a really hard thing. I've been so hungry before. I'm hungry now. Sorry. So I'm not about to make it seem like I'm not out here wanting more food, because the food that I get is not the food that I should be eating, that I want to eat. So I'm just gonna make that plain. Okay? But a lot of these people are concerned about getting their food share benefits or whatever through, whatever state they're in. But this is the thing: be careful, because first of all, a lot of times you're gonna look and see if you're in compliance, okay, of what you're supposed to be doing, if you are able to work, and why aren't you working? A lot of times your city is in trouble because your city don't have jobs for you. Why was I having to be on food stamps for 20 fucking years? That's not the move. That's inappropriate. Okay? So your city is in trouble because they don't have jobs and education. Period. You're in trouble. Your county is in trouble. Your state is in trouble. That means you have a penalty, punishment, or something like that. Punishment means, it's wrong to say punishment, but what I'm trying to explain what I mean in trouble. Meaning, you have to be held accountable for your actions. To have these many people in poverty in a state of emergency. Come on now. A state of emergency. Also, fraudulent actions. We'll see how you coming up with food now. They're going to be monitoring. Remember, fuck that. I would be jumping my ass. If you ain't got no food, I'm not staying on your program. When you get some more food, if that's what you choose, reapply then. I'm not fucking with them. They still getting money if somebody's name is on their program. Fuck that. I'm out of here. I've been off of the program since June, but I'm just saying. But they can monitor your banking statements. They can monitor all that. If somebody is giving you money and you don't report that, if you getting money from somebody that's buying you food and you do not report that somebody gave you $1,000 for food, knowing that ain't no food stamps, you might get charged criminally or have to go to some court that they got or have to pay something back, or you might be in trouble yourself. Only you. You're supposed to report if anybody give you any amount of money. And they probably have some guidelines. Maybe it's anything more than like $500 or $300. I don't know. So, if you coming up with ways to buy food, and you spending money, and they're like, okay, well, you got a way to make money. Your family, you don't need this. You got whoever giving you money can keep giving you money. They're not going to consider. They are not going to consider. I gotta type this up. If someone had to pull together, because really, people should be able to get loans. People should be able to have jobs. People should be able to use, if they have insurance. That's what they ask you too, like if you have a life insurance policy and all that different stuff. Not only because they probably want to, you know what I'm saying, be on the policy because you getting money, but because you could use money from there to buy your food. Please. So it's going to watch you. It's going to monitor you. That's what it should. It's supposed to do. Then, these raggedy ass food pantries around here. Please. The food is just... Some of the stuff is okay. I don't know. I'll go to a food pantry if it wasn't at a church. Maybe. Just to kind of see what's going on around here. Whatever. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm going to go. I'm not saying that I won't ever go. But I'm saying, like, they're just giving out food, random food, that is past the expiration date. I've been in a shelter and I've seen them. I've seen them bring boxes of expired food to my house. And they get paid all of this money from these programs, and they use it for other things and let people give them free food. People can donate at a place. You know what I'm saying? I read that yesterday. If you want to donate to food banks, you can drop it off at a food bank or perhaps a grocery store that participate in it. But this is the reason why I came on here. Then I'm about to get off my room. I gotta eat. Don't get it messed up. Where now they take away the program because people are just relying on these food pantries. Now all the only food you're going to get is a prescription from the food pantry. I'm calling prescription of what they want you to have. You ain't going to be able to buy fresh food. You ain't going to be able to go to these sandwich shops and do all this different stuff. If you're going to keep agreeing to let them mess you over, mess you around, and tell you what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and you're supposed to be the one in charge of their government. They're supposed to be doing stuff for you. Instead, they telling you what you can do with your body, what you can do with what you eat, how you live, or where you work, how you, all that stuff. No. So, just be mindful that they might be turning some shit into a clinic. Because they're advertising all these food pantries getting advertised out here. Of course, yes. Not only people who are on these benefits, but also they are calling them clients. I wrote to this woman, asked her, she's works at a food bank in Wisconsin. I said, what do you mean client? No, I said, no, that's not making sense. You have to explain that a little bit more to me, because client, how is it a client? Somebody come in there, now they're a client. That's a serious word. You see what I'm saying? Be careful, because these people are out here doing all kinds of things and saying it's you. It's uninformed consent. It's involuntary volunteerism, as I say. And it's a problem. They have all of these places feeding everybody and doing all that. But you know what? They need to come from wherever they're coming from and push food in. Not just randomly something that's just been sitting there waiting. They talk about, oh, it's shelf stable. It's this and that and other. How is it shelf stable when it's been sitting on the shelf for, now you want to push it off because it's been shelf stable for 10 years and 5 years and 9, and now you push into the shelters and that's all they can get while you are damage it out and you get fresh food. Why not figure something out otherwise? You getting fresh food, okay, you supposed to do something with that. You're not supposed to get a tax write-off and get the recovery from your damaged food from your city being in a state of emergency where nobody has money to come and buy food, where nobody's shopping, or that's not what is being purchased. And that's another thing. I had a hard time grocery shopping yesterday because I don't like eating the same stuff all the time. I don't want to find that this all I get. I want to get new things. I want to learn about other foods. I want to increase and develop and improve. But I had to kind of go and grab a few things or whatever. But I noticed that a lot of stuff out there were not natural. It was always a bunch of different drugs and extra stuff that was created in place of real elements. And that has this place where they say, well, they created a specific way, but it has an adverse effect. People are tripping off of African root bark. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful of how things are and kind of look at the situation like that. But these places are not ordering proper food. They're poisoning the people who come in there, and you allow it. I'm someone a being that calls to the store, that can and plans to call to the store and ask them, listen, what you have is inappropriate. This is not of much nutritional value. You have way more drugs in here than healthy, nutritious food. You have a little small produce section. And a lot of that stuff is, not as colorful. Shit. And you have all these other areas, whereas they're, shelf stable. Please. It's time to try to figure out, if you're going to get shelf stable items, get things that are going to last. They have these things now called meal replacement bars. I looked at one and it had like copper in it and all kinds of stuff. The problem is the milk, the animal product that they put in it too. I don't know why they had to do that. It's messed up. But I'm sure they have some like that. And it's not a meal replacement, but they call it that so that they can, I suppose, be able to pay or afford the little bitty sources. It just gives a little taste, a little sample. But it's a lot better than eating just some plain flour that has no nutritional value, and you still gonna have to put all kind of other stuff on it to make it into something. You're gonna have to coat it on some meat. You're gonna have to, throw some other ingredients and make it a pastry. You're gonna have to put some jelly and some peanut butter on it, anything. Then they're talking about how healthcare is too expensive. Some of these people are starting to really concern me, and it shows that they are violent because you panicking about a system who is abusing people and misusing the reason for their cause. All those clinical trials and blind studies that are actually accurately happening around here, you in trouble now. You don't want that to end. You don't want to change. You should be having outdoor gyms like some other places have. But I'm not concerned about anywhere else. I'm talking about wherever it is right now. Build outdoor gyms. Make that useful. Make that great now. Open all year round, all year fucking long. where people don't have to pay for a gym membership and get involved with and then all it's doing is cycling it and telling one government to give you less and less and less and less and less, and they get away with it because you constantly going around joining memberships of all these other places, hopping around, right? Hopping. And so it's just like, what's the problem? You should have things where people can be able to take care of themselves. Areas, big areas, where even in the winter, create some shit where it's still warm in environment, where it's like a closed-in environment, but it's like an outdoor environment. So people can still be active outside and not so shut in because y'all hardly open y'all windows in y'all buildings. I'm just saying, like, if you want health care, if you want things, do that. But you crying to keep sick care. You crying to keep livestock and like people who claim themselves as non-animals. And even animals. I mean, I'm just saying. You have to look at what is happening with them clinics and in that healthcare. Somebody crying they paying all this money for an inhaler and all this different stuff. What are you doing to get up and to breathe and move your body and realize that what you taking is probably shrinking your body up for you to be a specific size? It's shrinking your blood vessels, all this different stuff. Are you reading your medicine and seeing what it's doing? Understand that. Some people are in a traumatic state for two reasons, perhaps. Because they have violently been in an abusive situation with their whole being, with their body. Or they are taking shit that they don't need to take. People aren't even their body is not even developing how it should. You got people who can't even hardly walk because their bones are not developing as quick as their fat. I'm telling you, I've been through this shit. I want to build my bones. I want to strengthen my bones to carry whatever weight that I carry. But they don't have out there this calcium shit. They don't have all that. They have unusual fake hormones that are not estrogen, that are not testosterone. Anybody can have estrogen. Anybody can have testosterone, please. They got motherfuckers blowing up all over the place. All this belly. It's like livestock. It's a fucking mess. And it's a human zoo too sometimes. But some people need to consider and drive on those reasons. That's something to put into perspective right now. They're going to sit there and condition you as cheaply as possible. If you let them. But they don't have to. They can come out that motherfucking money. They can unass it. But if you going to accept running yourself to these pantries and not tell, why are you giving this fake food? Why you know what I'm saying, explain this. What's this? What's that? What's that? The grocery stores coming around here, shopping malls and all that different stuff, just with very bad, can't even hardly find a shoe that fit. You got a fucking fit a size and shrink a size to be walking around and just to look cute, feet hurting. I see these motherfuckers out here taking pictures. They just in some cute shoes, their toes all tight hanging, and then and back hanging up, and you wonder why your feet hurt. You wonder now why they want to cut your shit off. That is not healthcare. It's an all full cycle thing. When you trying to be something that you are not, breathe, please, and breathe. God damn it, straight up. I want some real shit. I want something that I can feel. I want to make it the fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't care about nothing else other than real life. Anyway, I'm about to eat. I'm about to eat something, and I'm coming some other time with a live video, of course. Ugh. I am Jasmine Renee Davis.